In Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court ruled that state prohibitions against abortion are unlawful because the unborn are not, quote, persons in the whole sense, unquote. In other words, the court concluded that whether the unborn are living human beings or not is irrelevant. It's okay to execute them by the millions as long as we tell ourselves that they're not really persons. This is a textbook example of what George Orwell meant when he wrote that some things are so stupid only an intellectual could believe them. The reality is, this loopy idea that someone can be a partial person or a non-person doesn't exist in the real world. In fact, the English language does not even have a word for a human being who is not a person. Even the deceased are often called dead persons. When confronted with this, abortion defenders often reply that the unborn are only potential human life. Of course, for this to be true, the unborn would have to have the possibility of becoming either a human being or some other life form, perhaps a parrot or a spider. The problem is, there is no record of any such thing having ever occurred. It may be difficult for the pro-choice crowd to reconcile, but every time a human female gives birth, she gives birth to another human being. So while it may be reasonable to say that a fetus is a potential Major League Baseball player or a potential school teacher, it is idiotic to say that a fetus is a potential human being. Only through mind-numbing stupidity could someone suggest that the product of human reproduction may or may not be human. If for no other reason, the unborn child is a living human being from the moment of conception because that's the only thing it can be. Another argument we sometimes hear is that the unborn are not really human because they're not fully developed. The flaw in that is that human beings develop for their entire lives. A fetus is less developed than a newborn, just as a 5-year-old is less developed than an adult. But that does not mean that the 5-year-old is less human. In the end, the driving force behind this catalog of rhetorical nonsense is obvious. Throughout history, whenever one group of people has wanted to justify the extermination of another group of people, they assign their victims labels intended to take away their humanity. From the beginning of time, this dehumanizing process has been the mechanism barbarians have relied upon to make their particular brand of killing seem acceptable. And the abortion lobby uses this same strategy for the same reason. But ultimately, it will fail. When this Holocaust is over, and one day it will be, the world will see that these people were never anything more than cold-blooded serial killers.